You know, it's probably one of the best individual performances that I've witnessed in a long time. There's one I can remember that played against a long time ago, Tavis. You remember him down at Vandy, but individually that was the best I've seen. It didn't matter what we did, how we guarded him. He made shots off the catch. He made shots off the bounce. He made shots off the dribble going left and right. He's got all the kind of ability to put it on the floor and get it to the rim. And that was the positive thing about it. We kept surviving. We hung in there enough because when you have guys making threes like that, man, it takes some emotion from you when you're battling. And particularly when we didn't shoot it great early. You know, Jarrett didn't have one of his better performances, but we hung around enough to keep it close enough, found different ways to get it into overtime. I thought Monte was very steady for us. I thought he was a huge key. 7 assists, 1 turnover. That's the best we've had from him. Didn't speed us up. I thought our team tonight, for sure, by far, 6 turnovers in 45 minutes. Like I said, we've had 6 turnovers for the first time out sometimes. But that enabled us to win the game tonight, lack of turnovers. First half, they had 12 second chance putbacks in that zone because they got it spread out. But the second half, they only got 3. That was huge, too. So I thought the differences were we hung in there. I thought Galen, the second half, going big again, helped us in that stretch. Helped change the flow of that game a little bit. We all know what Josh's situation was, having nose surgery, and didn't know how effective he could be. But that last play was, you know, kind of showed his toughness. He went there and stuck his nose in there and got offensive rebound. But great team effort, found different ways from different people to get into overtime. And when you got a guy like Jarrett, you go with him. He can miss 6, 7 in a row, but he's capable of jumping up and making 3 or 4 in a row. That's kind of what he did. And Charles was huge in there, rebounding that basketball all day. And we got that free throw line, made our free throws. So, again, you got to find ways to win games. And we found a way to win the game tonight against a really, really gutsy and 2 individual performances, really. And those 2 guys had 72 points between them. They're averaging 22 and 21 in conference play, but 72 points between them. That's about as good as I've seen in a long time. Questions?
You had Tavion guarding Jackson on a lot of those last plays. What did you see from him as far as, you know, kind of that, I guess, killer instinct on those last couple of plays to shut him down?
Well, you know, Tavion picked up his 4th foul. He got 2 fouls in that first half. He had to go to that bench some. Then he picked up that 4th foul on that loose ball out in front of our bench and had to set a pretty good stretch here now. How many minutes did he set? When did he go out? Tav, you got that stat?
5:05, 15:05.
15:05? Comes back in at 7. So he set out, you know, 8 or 9 minutes in that stretch. So we had to survive that, number one. He's our best defender on Jackson. That caused us to have to zone more, which we wanted to zone him some. You know, crazy as it sounds, sometimes great shooters easier to guard in a zone because that ability, that bounce. He wasn't easy either way. It didn't matter. But, you know, Tavion came back in. We mixed it up enough zone and man just to try to get him to the finish line without fouling out. But late in that game, when you wasn't worried about that, he had him. And, you know, he's a guy you trust, and he's a guy going to give you everything he's got.
Very quickly, what did Monte play tonight? Does he remind you of the Monte last season?
Well, by far his best performance. And again, this team is so different for him to have to play with. You know, last year we had so much more skill around him. But this is the way we need Monte playing. You know, I think we all saw, we've seen in the last 3 or 4 games, his minutes have been increasing. Thought he's getting a little bit more rhythm to his game. You know, he hadn't had a lot of rhythm early in his his first games he's been playing. But you see that rhythm coming, and, you know, I decided to make the change tonight in the starting lineup, and no question it was his by far best performance, offensively and defensively. Gets that huge steal over there, down 1, goes to free throw line, gets it into overtime. But he's the one guy, again, that has some ability to pass that ball. You know, we all know Monte's going to do some things. We just don't need him doing too much of those things. And tonight, he limited those bad decisions that he made. He got in that lane and got it to Charles on a couple different occasions, those drop-offs. Got fouled, could have completed them, but at least he got the ball in there. So that's the way we need him playing.
Charles, 22 points, 18 rebounds, but also only 1 turnover, too.
Well, again, I played him too many minutes. I think he's, it's not easy to guard those guys out there. Their 5 guy can shoot the ball. Even though tonight, Allen's shooting shots tonight, Dallas. Number 25, their 5 guy is a 50% three-point shooter in conference play. He's made 15 out of 31. So when you're playing man defense, he's got to be out there, and it takes him away from that basket. And you saw it a couple of times late. We went man. They got that ball at that rim. Well, you just choose your poison some. And our poison was play some zone, try to protect the rim, hope they can consistently jump up and make shots. And lots of times late in the game, for sure, that shot don't go quite as well. But again, we survived a guy who kept shooting it all night long. But Charles had a great effort. Went to the free throw line, 8 for 10, free throw line, 18 rebounds, 37 minutes. That's pretty good. 1 turnover. 1 turnover, I'm sure, is his season low for him for sure, because he's been averaging about 4 a game.
Did you notice Jarrett's teammates did anything in that between regulation and overtime to kind of boost his morale and maybe allow him to hit some of those shots? And what do you think changed for him?
Hey, listen, when you're a shooter, you're a shooter. That's what shooters do. You keep believing he's a shooter. He's never seen a shot he shoots he don't think he can make. That's what real shooters do. You can't let a couple missed shots get in your mind. I never questioned 1 minute about Jarrett stepping up and making them. Regulation, what was he?
I believe 1 for 11.
1 for 6? Jarrett. 1 for 6 in regulation. We were able to rest him a little bit in that stretch. We went big and rested him a little bit. Thought that helped him some, but I had no hesitancy. Put him back in there, started overtime, because he's capable at any time knocking down 2 or 3 in a row. And that's basically what he did. Knocks that first 3 down in overtime, doesn't he? They were in zone, weren't they, Tal? Kicked it to him. So he believes in himself. Teammates believe in it. They're going to keep looking for him.
Coach, you played Tolu and Charles a lot there together in the second half again. Going in, were you looking to exploit your size advantage?
Yes. The game didn't go quite as well as we wanted to from the way that game was being played, the flow of it. They're making all those threes, but, that was something we wanted to do, something we got to keep getting better at doing. It's something that can change the game for us. It helps Charles as much as does Galen. It gives us that second guy, not just to throw it to, but it keeps the help off of Charles. So it's a whole lot easier to throw it in there. And the more Galen would play, he had a couple putbacks around that rim he missed, got sped up a little bit, but having his presence was big in there. Got to keep finding ways to hide him defensively, him having to guard 4 guy. So basically, we were forced to play some zone, and for the most part, he did okay.
Coach, this is the first game you've hit 80 or more since the Wisconsin game back December 29th. And first time, I believe, all season that all 5 starters scored double-digit points. What did you see from your offense today?
Well, again, okay, good yard defense. You got to score some points. We haven't been scoring points very well. We all know that we're not near as skilled as we were last year. We kind of have some inconsistent shooters at times. So when you're inconsistent shooters, you got to throw it inside. But again, we haven't been great at that. So we got to keep finding ways. Galen helps now. I'm telling you, it helps us a bunch. That's number 1. Number 2, getting steady point guard play. That's where it starts at, right there. A guy who can not turn it over. Guy can create some easy plays from other people. And we haven't had that consistently. Tonight was by far the best performance we have had from our point guards all season long.
You all only ended up missing 5 free throws on the night, 22 for 27. Was that a bigger focus this week, or what did you see from you guys as far as that aspect kind of increasing so much?
Yeah, that's a focus for us every game. Trying to win that stat, make more free throws than your opponent's attempt. We try to do it every game. And when you're not a great shooting team, you better win that stat if you're going to have a chance. It means that ball is going inside on a pass, it's going in on a dribble. They attempt 14, we make 22. That's a huge stat. But again, having 6 turnovers gives you so many more opportunities at free throws, at field goal attempts. So again, I thought Monte's steadiness was big. I thought Galen coming in changed the flow of that thing. And again, we survived just a great individual performance. That's not easily done sometimes. And again, that was about as good as I've seen in a long time, Brett.
For Josh's first time wearing the mask,
yeah,
too, it seemed like it didn't really affect him much, did it?
Hey, you know, if we can get that out of him every time, 19.6 rebounds, we'll put a mask on him when his nose not broke. I mean, we didn't know what to expect for sure, how he was going to perform with that mask and, you know, not being, you know, was he going to be timid with it? But he wasn't. And again, we played a lot with him in there against the zone too. And you know, you got to move him around against the zone. You got to find ways to not let him stand out there on that wing because he hadn't seen a wing shot yet he doesn't like. But he makes different plays for you. He made some plays again tonight. Drove that ball from that left side over there in front of our bench late in there against that zone, got fouled. Big play too, made both free throws. I think we scored 8 out of 10 times in overtime. Is that correct, Zach? 8 out of 10 possessions. That's huge.
Rick, you've talked a lot about needing to get more production out of your bench. You mentioned Galen a little bit, but allowing you to see good minutes instead of Jake. I know he did a big read about 8 minutes.
Jake played 18 minutes tonight for us. You know, he's one of those guys too. You know, if you miss one, you just got to believe you're going to make the next one. He went 1 for 6, but he made one. He made one. That was big for us. We need Jake. We need another guy who can make shots on this team.
Hey, Coach, I was wondering about the foul situation, too. First half, you guys just had 3 fouls. I was wondering, did you try and get them to get a little closer in on Jackson in the second half? Or did you feel like you had to give them some space just because of that quickness?
Hey, choose your poison. There wasn't no change of how we guard him, if you're going to ask that question. If you ask me what I'd do different again, I couldn't tell you what I'd do different again. Because we threw everything at him from a standpoint of, you know, zoning, manning, going over top all of his ball screens. Don't worry about the guy setting the screen. Take that dribbler. He made all kind of different shots, though. He made tough shots. I don't know about, I hadn't seen no film. Out of 13, 14 threes, he makes 8. How many of those 8 was just totally uncontested? Not many of them. I know that stat already. Not many of them. And again, you can be a great shooter, and not step up there and make 8. But it wasn't just his 8 threes he made. So you crowd that 3-point line a little bit, right? 8 threes is how many points? How many points do you get? Which tells you now he's getting a bunch of other points off that bounce.
Right, he's creating space for himself.
And he's hard to guard on that bounce. He scores floaters to the rim, pull-ups. He's got a great mid-range. He's really difficult to guard, that's for sure. Where's Mike at tonight? Is he already gone? Gone?
It's overtime. He's got to get back on the air.
So he left out on overtime?
He had to leave.
He had to leave, okay. Brad, you have another one?
I'm good.
Anybody else, you guys, you know, you was here all last week by yourself. You've been here working. You've been on vacation. Give me another question.
We'd be concerned about some kind of emotional letdown coming out flat against UTEP after such a high point tonight.
Are you asking me if I'm concerned mentally how we are next game? How many times have you seen us play?
Good amount.
A bunch. So anytime you have to be concerned. But let me say this. There's no time for mental letdowns and emotional letdowns. Hey, we gutted it out and got a win. It's 1 win, 1 loss. You get on to the next one. They all count the same. You win close games, that's good for you. And win it the way we want it. We want a guy just keep shooting in your face. That's not easy now. I'm telling you, that's not easy. It takes a lot of emotional energy from you. To survive that and find a way to win, you know, I look at it the other way. I look at it gives you energy. It gives you emotion. And that's the way I expect us to be ready, you know, for Saturday night. Is that it? Yep.
Do you like a tennis shoes or dress shoes better on the sideline?
You asking me that question?
Yeah.
Real easy for me. Tennis shoes. You know, I quit wearing dress shoes several years ago because I'd get hoarse and I'd stomp my foot to get those officials' attention, and that's not good for your back. And I'm paying for that now, so tennis shoes for sure. Yep. Is that it, guys? All right. What time's our game Saturday?
6 o'clock.